Yo, what is poppin', my beautiful people? It's your boy Luxyyy back with another video, and I hope y'all are enjoying yesterday's video of my how to play on the FE215B. Look forward to next week where we will be going over the Leopard 1. But yeah, with today's video, we're going back into our top 3 list, and today is a big one. So we are going into the Tier 8 mediums. So like my last 2 lists with Tier 9 and Tier 10, there wasn't that many premiums compared to tech tree or standard vehicles. So I'm not going to do any honorable mentions like I've done in my Tier 10 and Tier 9 videos. I'm actually going to do the top 3 tech tree mediums first, and then we're going to go into the top 3 premium mediums. And all three top 3 premium mediums are better than the number 1 tech tree medium. So I wanted to put them separately instead of making 2 separate videos with honorable mentions, because it was really hard to find 3 honorable mentions for tech tree mediums, because it's really hard to compare them to each other whenever all these premiums exist. So we're just going to do one whole video on Tier 8 mediums, and I'm going to do the top 3 tech tree mediums and top 3 premium mediums. And let's start with the tech tree medium tanks. With number 3, the T69. So the T69 would have made its way into the top 3 for my list. I actually hadn't played it in about 3 years because I had grinded up the T57 Heavy Line, and I did not like the T69. And then I actually saw it got buffed, picked it up, and I had a lot of fun playing it, and especially getting the gameplay you're seeing now. Had a lot of fun playing the T69. The gun, absolutely amazing, with a 0.3 accuracy, with just under 20-second reload time, with 240 alpha. And that's really good for Tier 8. It used to be really bad, especially with its pen, but it's also got 523 view range at Tier 8, really good, as well as a decent mobility, 51 forward and 20 backwards. Bad fire chance, however, with the 20%, but the engine's located in the back, so don't get shot in the back. But yeah, that's the T69. Let's get to number 2. And coming in at number 2, it is the AMX 5100. So the AMX 5100 is a classic Tier 8 medium tank. If you have followed along with PC since its beginning, you'll remember with the Tier 8 battles where you had to have your team equal 42, or it was 72 or something like that, but you could only play Tier 8s. They would throw in like a Tier 5 or something like that. Well, the AMX 5100 was at the top of that because it was just such a good tank, and it still is a good tank if you use it well. It doesn't have great armor, but it's got great mobility to make up for that lack of armor with 51 kilometers forward and 20 backwards. That is not bad at all, but it really does come down to the gun with 6 shots of 300 alpha with a 40-second reload. That's just actually insane for a Tier 8 medium tank. And yeah, in the right hands, the AMX 5100 can absolutely clap cheeks at Tier 8. But yeah, that's number 2, the AMX 5100. Let's get to our number 1 tech tree medium tank. And for 2 straight weeks in a row, it is the M48 patent line coming in at number 1. Well, I say 2 straight weeks, but for Tier 9, it was the M46 patent was the number 1 Tier 9 medium tank. So it's crazy that the number 1 tech tree Tier 8 medium would be the Pershing, because the Pershing is absolutely nuts, especially when I was playing it. I was popping off on Malinovka. But yeah, again, for me, I'm a damage dealer, so it comes down to its ability to dish out that damage, and this tank is pretty much really good at that. So it's got mediocre mobility with mediocre armor. The armor will bounce shots, but not every shot, and your mobility will get you around, but not faster than most tanks. But then it comes down to the gun, a sub 5.5 second reload with 240 alpha, same as the T69, only this one doesn't have an autoloader. So pretty much take the autoloader aspect out of the T69, and you have the Pershing, only with better everything. So yeah, the Pershing comes in at number 1. And honestly, this line really does dominate the medium tanks, because now that I'm thinking about the Tier 7 medium tanks, the T20 is definitely going to take the cake at that one. So sorry for a little spoiler there, but yeah, that's the Pershing at number 1. So now that is our top 3 tech tree mediums at T69, AMX 5100, and Pershing. Let's get to our top 3 premium medium tanks. And coming in at number 3, it is the Ragnarok. And while you're watching the Ragnarok gameplay, I'm going to go over this real quick. So premium tanks are really hard to judge on what's better and what's not, because these tanks really do come down to the user. So the user can make any tank be good, whether it be considered the worst tank in the game or the best tank in the game, like the KV4. The KV4 is absolute dog shit, but I was able to 3-mark it because if you can take a tank, whatever it's good at, and maximize that, that's good. So just take my list with a grain of salt. Whether you disagree with me, just politely let me know in the comments. And no need to get angry and get all crazy about it and tell me I'm stupid and whatnot. But I'd love to hear y'all's list down in the comment section. So let me know what y'all's top 3 premium tanks are. But yeah, let's get into my top 3. Yeah, so number 3 here is the Ragnarok. So I was actually playing the Ragnarok during the silver event because this tank gets a massive silver bonus, the highest I've seen at 175. So 75% silver bonus. I was getting like 1.2 to 1.8 million silver a game. Well, a win, I should say. It was absolutely insane. But the gun on this thing is what keeps it there. Everything else about the tank, I would say, is mediocre. Has no armor. Its speed is just right in the middle. But its gun is just absolutely insane. Its penetration does set it back a little bit because it is a Czechoslovakian tank. But its gun with 320 alpha, at those 3 shots, and with how fast it reloads, it's just nuts. It's actually, I'm looking at the stats while y'all are watching the game. So yeah, 23.7 second reload time with a 0.3 accuracy, which is just really good with 320 alpha, and almost pushing 500 view range with the build I have on it. So yeah, that is the Ragnarok at number 3. And also another thing is that I do put these tanks on these lists. Doesn't mean I'm an absolute amazing player in them. So I try to find what I can to talk about them and teach about them, but I am not an expert in any of these tanks. So I'll talk about them with what I can, but yeah, this is my list. Let's get to number 2. And coming in at number 2, it is the AMBT, one of the newer premium tanks in the game. And whenever I picked it up and was playing it, and if you've stuck around my channel for long enough, this was actually the tank I gave out for my Christmas Tanksmas giveaway. But when I was playing the AMBT, it really did just feel like a Tier 8 Progetto 65, which in the right hands also is a really good tank. And that does kind of come in handy with these top 3 premium tanks, which you can probably guess number 1. But really, if you put them in the right hands, these tanks excel on the battlefield and are better than any other premium tank, in my opinion. So yeah, the AMBT is nuts. 360 alpha with a 3-shell auto reloader. So that means you load one shell after another. You don't load a full clip. So that does keep your gun in the fight, and whether you do go full clip or one shot after the other, you're still going to just be dishing massive amounts of damage. It was easy for me to get 25 plus every game in the AMBT. So yeah, that's number 2, the AMBT. And I'm sure you guys can guess which is number 1. It is the Burask. So I haven't played the Burask enough to really get a grasp of why this tank is as good as it is, but playing it is absolutely so fun. And I think it's the concealment that sets it apart from others, as well as its gun that does 360 alpha. It doesn't get great pen with 190, but it's the mobility paired with the concealment. 243 still concealment, which is really good with 510 view range, and a 62 kilometer per hour speed, which is just really good. And yeah, I'm trying to find stuff to talk about for the Burask, because I mean, really it comes, I mean, it's without saying, the Burask is obviously the best tank at Tier 8. I wouldn't say it's like a Tier 9 tank. I would just say it's just a really good Tier 8 premium. I think if it's top tier, it is overpowered, but I think if it's in Tier 10s, I think it's pretty balanced for Tier 10s. So yeah, that's my list for the top 3 premium medium tanks for the so number 3 is Ragnarok, number 2 is AMBT, number 1 is Burask. Let's go over the tech tree mediums. It was the T69, the AMX5100, and the Pershing. So let's have our debates down in the comments section. I want to hear y'all's list, so give me y'all's list down in the comments, and on your way back up from that comment, smash that like button, and I'll catch y'all next time.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast, and every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the